Listen. Welcome to the Intercut live spoiler podcast that's looking back at the finale of Euphoria. HBO's season 2 has wrapped up. It's been so big that literally I think the only thing Cassie couldn't beat was Khaleesi herself, but they got so close. So many people have tuned in, and it's one of those shows where if you're a big fan of the series, then you've been keeping up with everything. If you're not a big fan of the series, you've been keeping up with everything. This is one of those shows that have just become so big, as you can see. And I personally am one who recommends it. If you have not seen the series, go give it a watch. You got 2 seasons to enjoy, even 2 little specials that came out during COVID. It's probably one of the best things that HBO has right now. I know a lot of people are divided with this. I don't think it's better than season 1, but season 2 is still solid and I think really grew. What about you, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed season 2. Like you, don't think it was as good as season 1. I don't want to start this out on too downer of a note, but I will say I think this finale was one of their worst episodes ever. It doesn't put me off of the show. Doesn't mean I don't want to watch season 3. I'm still very excited for season 3, but definitely a bit of a messy conclusion to this second season.
All right. Well, again, if you have not seen it, this is your chance to go away. We do have a live chat over here, giving a big shout out to those who are on the stream. They've been waiting patiently. We'll be getting some of your notes as well because there is a lot to talk about in Euphoria. So, with that final spoiler warning out of the way, let us explain. Take it away, Zach.
It was a messy, explosive finale for both Lexi's play and the second season of HBO's hit show Euphoria. In a familiar story, HBO Max crashed because so many people were trying to stream the episode right at 9 p.m. Art, how did you end up watching the finale? Did your HBO Max work?
I waited the 10-minute buffer, and that helped for me. It looked crispy, it looked beautiful, so I had no problem with it.
Yeah, this is one of those times that I'm glad I'm not a cord cutter because my app wasn't working, but I quickly shifted to the channel and I got that right on time. So I got to watch it. Not everybody got to watch it right at 9, but everybody got to watch it eventually. Things began in Fezco's apartment where Custer tried to get him to admit to killing Mouse while he was wearing a wire for the police. Faye gives Fez the heads up that something's going on, but Ash instinctively stabs Custer in the neck.
Just like he did with Mouse.
Suddenly things have gone from bad to worst for TV's most lovable drug dealer, at least since High Maintenance went off of the air. We pick back up at Euphoria High with Cassie storming down the auditorium aisles. She's had enough of her sister being celebrated and decides to hop on stage to interrupt the play. Stage managers are in shambles.
Yeah, don't like it.
The spotlight is on Sydney Sweeney. It devolves into chaos. Maddie starts to yell at her from the crowd and then decides to go fight Cassie on stage.
What they've been waiting for.
Everybody chasing each other around the set. You know, for a show as well shot as Euphoria typically is, this whole sequence was staged a little bit strangely. I don't know if I fully followed the fight.
From the frame that you could see right there, imagine if you paid for the fight and then you didn't even see the punches land. Yeah, this one landed off screen. I wanted to see a little bit more.
Exactly. Rue then goes to Elliot's house to forgive him for snitching her out to Jules, and then Rue has a very relatable experience being forced to listen to someone on drugs play music.
Over and over. I like this band, but damn, I think the song is still going.
I'm a little surprised that this seems to be the thing in the episode that everybody is complaining about, but
because it was just so long. It was the whole. He had a pre-chorus or a bridge. He had too much.
Yeah, at least we could have taken out a chorus to give Barbie Ferreira some more scenes or something. Zendaya co-wrote the song, though. I don't know if everybody realized that when they were listening live.
Between her and Lambrin, so that's why she's very happy to see here that she's got a single.
Fresh off of being depicted as the leader of an orgy of muscled, shirtless men, Nate loads a pistol and finds his dad hanging out in a creepy warehouse full of his LGBT friends, I guess. But rather than shoot him, he hands his dad a flash drive. It's the tapes, I guess, digitized.
Everything.
And Nate's also given it to the cops. He wants his dad out of his life so that he can move on. I guess we should just ignore the gun?
That's been the thing for this man. He just played Russian roulette not too long ago. Now he's doing this. They just love you. They love showing you guns. I think you said it's the reverse Chekhov for this.
Yeah, exactly. The reverse Chekhov's gun. They show it and then never use it. This scene to me felt the most like it was ripped from a soap opera. A lot of Nate's storyline this season was a little bit broad in ways that didn't work for me as well as some of the other characters.
I feel you, because it goes from a soap opera, and then, hey, it's a shootout.
Exactly. Back at Fezco's, the cops are outside the door and there's a body bleeding out on the couch. Fez tries to get Ash to leave, but instead the toddler takes a rifle and locks himself in the bathroom. It's time for Euphoria's first shootout. They exchange hundreds of bullets and Ash pulls out some John Wick tricks, but in the end, Fez gets shot and Ash gets murked. They had to solve the Walt problem one way or another.
One way. Yeah, he was going to grow up too big.
Exactly. Rue then starts a chant for Lexi back at the play, and despite the hiccups, they decide to finish the play. Then later, Rue calls Lexi to congratulate her. They hang out, talk about the play in one of the quieter yet more effective scenes we've had all season long on Euphoria. When Rue says, "I want you to know that seeing the play meant the world to me," I cried. And then when they talk about their dads and Rue says, I think they're saying that you got to give it a reason as for the reason for things to happen. Talking about her dad, I cried again. This scene was really, really good, Art.
It was.
Yeah. Although they end it in a little bit of a weird, like, flash sideways thing, talking about more, like, inspiration from Lost. I'm not so sure what the chronology is meant to be with it being in the play and then after the play too.
And it's a little open-ended for a second, and we'll pull it up later, but they have a very interesting ending with Rue.
Yeah. Later, we see Maddie, Cassie, Kat, BB all together in the bathroom, and for all of Maddie's talk about liking a fight, Cassie basically looks like she got a really good noogie at the end of this.
The hair's all messed up. It's like the worst they could do with her.
Right? Cassie says that Nate broke up with her, and Maddie responds with, "Don't worry, this is just the beginning," which leaves me wondering the beginning of what? Just like more bad decisions?
It's that Khaleesi GOT, what was it, season 7 premiere. That's what they're trying to prep with over here.
Yep. After the play, Jules apologizes to Rue and says she misses her. Rue gives her a kiss on the forehead and walks away. Jules cries. There's love between them, but there's so much more that's unresolved. And then at the end of it all, Sam Levinson gives himself a standing ovation.
Really what it comes down to at the end of it. But yeah, no, I mean, overall, I have enjoyed this past season. I thought it was really good. I'm excited with the amount of people that were able to jump on board with the series. And I think overall, it did an effective job, I think, of really building up the characters. I liked seeing characters who we didn't know much about get a lot more screen time. I liked seeing, even Fez, who got one of the best episodes this season with the intro. I thought they did a really good job overall. But I would say it's this is the moment where this is what I want to build up upon. They teased us this Fez bit all last week just to give us nothing. Did they deliver, Zach? Did you get enough bullets and lead all over the place?
I think I got maybe too many bullets. They really stretched that thing out, man. It feels like a lot of ammunition to bring to like your local drug dealer's den. But what do I know? Maybe Fez is getting into some really messed up shit on the off-camera stuff that happens. I love
how the chat's saying it turned into a Michael Bay movie because it kind of did. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
The funniest thing to me is people reacting to that clip on Twitter, being like, "What is this show about?"
You know, because you've been seeing all these colors, and all of a sudden it's like color graded like Sicario.
Yeah,
but that's all because of this little man right here. You find him too cute, right?
It's not that I find him too cute. I think people. Their love for the character is way outside for his role on the show. I mean, did he have a line this season? I
think it's less his lines and more like what he represents. They treated him like a puppy who they found,
It's cool.
And obviously that's where a lot of the character of Fez comes in because he's not a person who's going to snitch. One of the things that I knew was happening a lot this season was that everybody was snitching. It was Snitch in the movie, right? If it wasn't Jules snitching on Rue with Elliot, then it was Jules snitching on Cassie and her boyfriend. It was Nate snitching on his dad. It was Lexi snitching on everybody. It was Snitch in the movie except when it comes to your boy over here. And a big shout out also, I have to pull up a picture again over here. I thought Cherry, come on, that's what I'm talking about. The only people who keep it hush hush. But it was an interesting dynamic of having a group in the show who knows how to keep secrets for the betterment of themselves. Whereas these ones that we brought up with Nate, with Lexi, it's like she has that quote where you kind of need to open up, and if you don't open up, does Rue continue to spiral down? Does his dad continue to do horrible things? I don't really know what Lexi was doing. I hope I hope she gets more garbage from it, because I do think she needs a 50-50 split. And I do wonder what would have happened if Rue was the one who didn't like it and it was Cassie, because Cassie didn't really do much. All we ended up with was a Coke can on a foot. But I wonder what would have happened if it was Rue, considering who Rue is friends with. But overall, this scene delivered in what I wanted it to be, I guess. I was expecting if one of the two was going to go, it had to have been Ash. For a second, I thought it was going to be Cherry. I never thought it was going to be Fez. I knew this man had a lot of stuff up his sleeve.
I know. There's been a lot of speculation about, like, is somebody on Euphoria going to die this season and stuff like that. And I ultimately think that if you're a series regular on a show that's as big as Euphoria, for the most part, you're safe, right? Like, this isn't Game of Thrones. This is a high school drama. And maybe they'll kill off the secondary characters and the people who are guest stars, but there's a little bit too much invested in Angus Cloud and Jacob Elordi for them to just write them off of the show that easily, I think.
I agree.
But, it makes sense to write off this kid who's supposed to be young as he starts to get older. He's not going to be the cute little drug dealer's assistant for much longer.
I agree. And he needed to go. Like, he did it to Mouse. He did it over here as well. He's way too impulsive. Even I found myself being one of the ones who wanted to defend him. He did a little too much. And it was sad to see that Fez also gets shot by him. And then Fez is there with the letter that I know you don't care about. I'm a little interested. It's kind of like that. The Office had everybody wondering what a letter has. And if they don't get an answer, if they don't get a whole prequel series to that, then they're going to be upset. But, like, they stepped on it and everything. And it's now covered in his blood. And the way Fez was shot, I don't think he's dead, but he's definitely in a lot of pain, in my opinion. So I'm curious to see how they're going to build that up. But I'm glad
especially because the initial response and press that he's done since the finale, Angus Cloud has indicated that they haven't told him whether or not he'll be back for season 3.
Really?
I can't imagine he won't be back for season 3, but that I guess that's maybe a little up in the air.
I don't say he doesn't come back. I feel like he's become a fan favorite, akin to like Norman over on Walking Dead.
With the letter though, I was telling you this before the stream. I just think some people are watching the show a little bit too much like it's Lost or like it's Yellow Jackets, and like every little thing is going to be this huge thing that has ramifications. Like he's gonna open up the letter and it's like Jacob runs the island or something. It's not. It's that Nate. Show. It's a little like I love you and appreciate you note because they're trying to start a relationship. Like I think it's not that deep.
I feel you. I agree with that. The grandma, the one frame of the grandma did get me. I just wanted to mention that and point it out right there. That no one even bothered to look at her. Very deep sleeper.
Deep sleeper.
But no, I wish the best for Fez. And I don't know where you sided. I know we're talking a little bit about this between the relationship of Lexi and Fez. I don't know what their nickname is that they've got going on.
Lexi?
Look, I appreciate that from episode 1. He's spitting game. This is a girl who clearly can have drug dealers around her, not really know much, but he did let her know from the start, this is who I am, when he beat what's-his-name to a pulp. Did it matter since he looks pristine? No, but nonetheless, I feel like they know who they are to each other, and yet they're still attracted to each other. I feel like they have very different goals, but I really enjoyed the speech that he gives here about being completely different people, but that being a good thing, him feeling like that's what attracts them to a degree. So I don't know. It's not a healthy relationship, but
it's a cute opposites attract kind of thing. I don't know how much it makes practical sense given the worlds they operate in, but it's cute, and you kind of need stuff like that to root for on a show like this. I'm not like waiting for every new scene, hoping that it's a Fexy scene or something, but like it'd be cute if it happened.
Fexy's a weird name, bro. They got to fix that. They got to come up with another one. But even in that, I don't know what relationships people are rooting for here, because the other male in this series is probably even worse. I liked how it played out. Last week we were talking about some of the spoilers in terms of the flashes he was getting when he was watching the play. And I really liked what the director and the producers were talking about in terms of shooting this season in a way that it feels like a memory, in that what the characters are watching up on stage could be their interpretation of it.
Right.
Is it a little bit of a cop-out? Sure. But I think they did it effectively this season. I know that's been one of the biggest gripes. We even discussed that when they're watching the show, the moment that the show's going super crazy up on stage, if an audience member sees it, that puts it into reality.
Yeah.
But then, they're playing off of the fact that, hey, it could be anything. So we had that big moment in where he was confronted by his mom, and she asked him, why do you act so differently? We got that little flash of him feeling like he was touched by his dad, only for it to be revealed here that he was 11 years old when he found, what did he call it? Everything? As a kid, definitely not on a flash drive, but on a floppy disk or something, and that's what changed him completely. How do you think this played out?
And he's talking about how he has nightmares since then.
So that's what the flash would have been from the previous season. I do agree. I think it was a cop-out to do the thing with the gun. Then pull a little Aria. Like, they literally had him switch out the gun, put it in the pocket, pull out the USB. It didn't really need that, but I did like the confrontation between him and his dad. And I don't know if that means that his character is completely done, if he's going to come back into play. One of the big factors that he had said in a previous episode was he doesn't want his dad to be known as, a sick person, because that job is also going to be passed on to him. It's the family name. So I thought he had thought that through. He still did this, so we'll see. There was like 3 cops there, so we'll see how they develop that.
Exactly. I wouldn't be surprised if Eric Dane is off of this show after this season. I mean, especially between Cal going to jail and Fez probably going to jail. Like, there's only so many scenes that we can do in prison, right? On Euphoria. Yeah.
How do you feel about the dong usage in season 2 of Euphoria? Specifically, I don't know if you've heard the controversy that's been spreading. I didn't even realize. They're all prosthetics, and I guess that became a really big thing to people who wanted to be immersed, who really thought these actors were giving it all. Specifically, this actor right here who gave a whole speech where he had his dong out. Turns out it wasn't. It was just more prosthetics than Cobblepot in the new Batman movie. But we'll see where they take it.
I mean, it's not a huge deal to me whether or not the prosthetics are real, because I think the prosthetics are pretty effective.
They were pretty effective.
But they were definitely making a point to be like the male nudity show, the random, like, unflattering male nudity show. Yeah. And that's the thing to me, is that, like, still, like, even if you're subverting the idea of it's mostly women who get shown naked in TV shows like this, you're not exactly subverting it, because you're still not, like, making it sexual. You're just making it weird. And, like, there's that one part where you see the guy's dick when he's sitting on the toilet from the first episode. It's not exactly a like-for-like swap by just making it male nudity instead of female nudity.
I agree. And to add to that, if they're getting any credit for, like, pushing that boundary, do they deserve it if the females do have to show theirs and the dudes still aren't showing theirs? I guess that was, like, the big dilemma that people had with it, that they felt that it needed to be, I guess, all in. They wanted the whole method acting. Someone who didn't get any method, practically no acting. I have 2 frames of this woman right here. All right, I got this and I got this. That's all they gave us to work with, literally. Everyone, I think, knows about the behind the scenes. If you haven't, you can look up everything that's gone on. I am personally one of the ones who feels that a bunch of the rumors that happen. I don't know if you want to.
I was going to say rumors of her and Sam Levinson clashing on set.
There is that one quote where Lexi, who I feel is the embodiment of Sam, tells somebody, it's the directorial note, just take it. I don't know how deep he makes this movie, but hey. It was a 2-parter finale, with the previous one being a play where they're playing a version of themselves, with Sam Levinson having the show be a version of his friends. So I don't put it past him, but when it came to the show... go ahead.
I was just going to say, with Kat's character, there's been a lot of speculation about, like, why Barbie Ferreira has a decreased role, and I don't want to say for certain that there isn't, like, some behind the scenes stuff happening, but I think sometimes something that happens when you watch a TV show with this many characters is some characters are just not as prominent in certain seasons, right? Like, you think about a show like The Office, which has a whole bunch of characters, and how BJ Novak's character would sometimes just be missing for several episodes in a row. Euphoria only has 8 episodes to get this all in. I sometimes the balance is off. This year, Lexi got a lot of scenes. Kat didn't get a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if it flipped right back for season 3. I'm not saying there's not more to the story, but I'm saying there might not be more to the story.
I feel you, but I think we could have gotten a whole much after the 40 minutes that Elliot was playing his guitar. I did see something over here in the chat as I pull it up. I know some people had some comments in terms of who cares about the prosthetics.
Right.
I could see an argument for the nudity. I know in particular a lot of people were saying how funny it was that McKay just kind of disappeared. And then also a correction for myself when I was talking about, I forgot.
Nate?
No, Smith's character, LG Smith. He graduated. I didn't realize that people were making a big deal that he shouldn't have even been in the high school party in the premiere of the season.
Exactly, yeah.
But nonetheless, that was there.
That's the thing. There's some rumors that he like quit the show or something, and I thought his character just kind of like wasn't really relevant once Cassie and him weren't together.
Grade. I told you, dude, he did not like how they edited the previous season. Yeah, and now they just booted him to college, and he kind of dipped. I'm not the biggest fan of that.
Yeah, but if he didn't like it, why would he show up in the first episode? I don't know. It seems a little bit weird to me.
I like what the Vesh says here. I swear that the whole play was just that Malcolm and Marie storyline. I'm going to get to that in a bit because Zach and I have been saying, like, how deep does this go? How much is this man just not writing anything that's new? And none of it is fiction. It's all based off of something that happened in his life. And like Lexi, he's able to make some content out of it, right? Turn your trauma into art is pretty much what he says. What do you feel about Jules? You were saying there was some reception about what are they going to do with Jules next season? How are they going to put her in the show? Zach had a really, really genius idea that he broke down of how they can incorporate Jules in season 3 of Euphoria.
They can write her into the next season. I don't know. She hasn't like left the school or anything.
People act why after season 1 and what she did with the bus, being able to bring her back.
There was awkwardness between her and Rue again,
and they made it work. And technically, they even ended up in a better place here than the previous season. So, yeah, I don't see that as being much of an issue. Other than I feel we didn't get much here. I think the biggest thing that they went through was obviously her snitching about her relapse. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, that's a big premise this season.
I thought they were going to end up going a little bit more into that, like, burgeoning relationship that she had with Elliot. But then it kind of takes a left turn, and she sort of becomes a character mostly in service of Rue. She doesn't have much personal development. Her development is mostly just to be there for Rue's whole journey, which, you know, it gives her a prominent role on the show, but it does feel a little bit less about Jules's life. You know, we don't really go home with Jules much, especially in the back half of season 2.
Another person who got cut, but even then, not as much as Kat. The person who just became the queen for everybody over here. I have been praising Sydney Sweeney since she was on that Netflix show that got canceled a little too early, but now anything she touches seems like it's going to be turning into gold. Her Joker arc in this. Her just being able to command the screen and become any meme possible. I know we were saying, see if I can pull up the shot over here of the boy in the tub. Here's this angle right here. Euphoria really liked its tub scenes this season. Really like. I'm trying to see if I can find the other one that I had pulled up here.
It's a good contemplative. Maybe Sam gets a lot of writing done in the bathtub. That would make some sense,
right? I mean, you had Cassie in one, you got Ash in one. I expect a lot more bathtub scenes for the follow-ups. But did you like the way that they built up her character? Do you think they went a little, I don't know, too cheap? Do you think it's in line with who she was in the previous season?
I wasn't really a fan of Cassie's arc this year. I felt like she kind of regressed in some ways. You know, I think there was moments in season 1 where she's trying to seemingly confront that side of her that she doesn't like as much, and then they doubled down on all of that in season 2, which just felt bizarre to me. I mean, I don't know. It was compelling for sure, and I think Sydney Sweeney was extremely good in the part. Like, I think back to the argument that she has with her mom in, I want to say episode 7. It jumbles a little in my head.
When they take all the knives out of the house.
And how irritating she is, but in a very believable way.
Yeah, I thought she gave a really effective performance, even if it felt like it was catty. And while people complained about that, they were also craving it. The people who were like, "Wow, so it's just going to be this type of storyline between the two friends." But then they were also the ones saying, "I didn't see the punch land." So clearly, it's something that people wanted to see. I know you really liked her performance, and I thought this scene was fantastic. The way it was just blending together.
Totally. And speaking of great performances, I thought Cassie's mom had a great season. Alana Ubach is her name. She was very, very funny in her small parts. I love her just love it, clapping for Lexi's play. It's really, really fun.
And then trying to be like, oh, my daughter, she's such a genius. She thought of all of this. It's
this
great.
Is all part of the play.
It's absolutely fantastic. I will say there was some moments, as we were talking about earlier, that cop-out thing of like, oh, it's on someone's imagination. This was one of those intimate scenes where I don't know how that's written into a script. But I'm sure one of Sam Levinson's friends is at home going, how did he know that about me and put it in Euphoria? I loved a lot of the reactions here. We had this one of Rue. I did have that extra. You remember the extra who felt like she was getting spoiled? I don't know if you remember that one. I thought that was fantastic, where they're literally breaking down, and she felt like she was going to get spoiled season 3 of Euphoria as she was watching the play, and they were catching her up on it. I'm going to see if I could pull it up right here.
The whole
but I
wait,
also
she
really
Maddie's boyfriend thing, I think.
Yeah, when she didn't know. I don't think I have it, but nonetheless, here's a very similar one from Rue. I thought this one was perfect. This was when Cassie's doing her march down, and they do the whole brawl, the whole fight. I agree with you. We needed to see more carnage, I guess, but it's only the beginning. In terms of the other characters, Maddie didn't have much in this season other than hating Cassie and then trying on clothes with the babysitter. I don't know where you think they're going to take her character, but I feel that there has become a big archetype with characters like this. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you have any theories.
I agree. Like they didn't really do a whole lot. Like it felt like they were starting something with the whole babysitter plot line, and it felt like there was a moment where they were gonna allude to like her being accused of stealing stuff or something, and then she just becomes besties with Minka Kelly. It felt like they introduced it and didn't really know how to wrap it up or want to just keep it open for next season, but it made it feel like she again didn't really have much of her own story to do this year.
Even in the beginning, that one whole tense scene where Cassie's in the bathtub, the way that ends, it's such a fizzle out. That was a lot of her storyline.
Yeah.
Getting into the deep stuff.
Again, it's her being in service to Cassie, or maybe even in service to Nate, rather than actually growing as her own character.
100%. Besides his 20-minute song, did you like Elliot? I'm a big Dominic Fike fan. I hate him because he canceled the concert because clearly he booked Euphoria and those ticket prices were going to go up. Only this man can premiere a song when everyone else is doing Jimmy Fallon, he's premiering songs on HBO. But I wish it was written by him.
Yeah.
I thought it was an okay moment. I do like him as a character.
I didn't mind the moment at all. You know, and I think it's the kind of thing where you watch a season of a TV show and it's nice to finally sit with the characters when they've come to a more settled place. Yeah. I think Rue earned that moment because even though he's singing, it's all about her, right? So I didn't mind it, man. Like, where's everybody trying to get to? You're all sitting down for Euphoria anyway. It's more Euphoria.
I agree. But I also really like the relationship with her and Lexi. I thought this moment was also really badass, and where she's starting the chant, gets Lexi all riled up. She's able to come back out and perform her art. And then you obviously had the phone call conversation between them and when they actually meet up. And I thought it was... I really also like the editing. I want to give a shout out to the editing. And I know they had like different teams as well as cinematographers, but the way that they were able to just show different memories montaged together, this being the memory of Lexi being there when Rue was sick, but also the one of her father. It was a really nice emotional through line where it allows you to connect to the characters to see not only how they perceive a situation, but how they relate to each other. And I agree with you. I thought they had some of the most beautiful scenes towards the end.
Yeah, I don't know if all of the like intercutting worked perfectly, but there are just some moments where it is so beautifully done, and you just feel like you're slipping in and out of memories, in and out of the past and the present. I want to shout out just this small camera trick that happens in episode 7, where they start the shot on Cassie and they pan over to the mirror and it's her double from the play in the mirror, like a very classic camera move, but it worked so nicely
with no glass. I agree, dude. The way that they were just blending their real world to the play's world and then thinking of how much farther it goes with all the drama behind the scenes, I really thought you walked out on a set, bro. I thought this was a lot. I was like, I've never seen a school like this. They just put a school bus on the Warner Bros lot and called it a day, had her walk out. I thought they were gonna holy mountain us for a second, but no, overall I thought it was really good. And then even with Lexi, I'm a big person. I don't have a picture of the other dude, the one who was dating Kat for throughout the episodes.
Ethan,
but he felt like he was looking more and more and more like Sam Levinson, in my opinion. And then with Lexi, I felt that she was looking or acting more and more like the director that is Sam Levinson. So when it got to the point where you actually had these, what's it called? The people coming out to like break down everything that was happening in the play with the ADs. And they were saying, wow, Lexi, she's such a genius. Lexi, she's so smart. All I'm seeing is this man praise himself and writing it for the character of Lexi.
The white dude from IndieWire liked it.
It really is. To me, and we were discussing this, we're like, how deep can it go? And I'm like, Zach, the man made Malcolm and Marie. I don't think he has any shame in not getting as deep as he does. But that's just how I felt. That every time I saw the ADs doing something, I'm just picturing his own AD going, damn it, Sam, stop speaking for me. But yeah, no, Lexi really killed it. And it was really funny to see people on Twitter realize who her parents were.
Right?
Look, if it didn't change your opinion before you knew, I don't think it should change it after.
Yeah. That one post where somebody recognized Leslie Mann but didn't know who Judd Apatow was.
That's funny.
Yeah. It was cool to see Maude Apatow's role increase. She probably got the biggest upgrade in screen time between seasons 1 and 2. And she's a character I like a lot, even though I felt like the director personality was very different from the like at home personality. I guess that's what they're going
he's trying to say. Again, he's just defending himself, bro. I guess the idea that you turn your trauma and you take your pain and you turn it into art, right? Lexi gets to justify it the same way that he's trying to justify it as well. But some of the last minute things that I did want to bring up just out of interest, little things that they were able to change for this season. Jeremy O'Harris, for those of you who don't know, they have a lot of behind the scenes when it comes to consultants. If you haven't followed his stuff, the man's a consultant for everything. I don't know why it's always him. Like, he was even in Emily in Paris for that stuff, but Zola would be probably the biggest thing that I recommend from his stuff. I know he's got a play as well. I have not seen the play. I'm not endorsing the play.
Is a
big one, I know.
This is huge hit on Broadway right now. I haven't seen it yet. But
so he's been on Euphoria. Probably anything that you think is authentic comes from him. I was really excited to see that. Kevin Abstract, look at it. The man doesn't even have a full IMDb picture yet, but he's continuing to do a lot more stuff. I know he consulted on a couple of episodes from Brockhampton, if you don't know. But just a big shout out to the DP team as well. If you got a Kevin? You got a Kevin thought?
I just, in my head, whenever I see his name, I'm like, is he just getting a consultant credit for knowing Dominic Fike? But I'm sure there's something more there.
Honestly, it could be. Who even knows, right? He's just getting the credit for it. He's his probation officer at this point. But just shout out the DP team. I really like what they did this season. They were talking in the behind the scenes all the time about how they shot in Ektachrome, and they really wanted to make a big deal shooting in film. And honestly, for all the actors in Euphoria, what can be better than being on a show where they are capturing you in the most beautiful light on film? You know, like you're not going to be in other projects where they're going to cash out the money or even more know how to even light these things. So a big shout out to the team just all across creatively. I thought they did a fantastic job with it. And I really like this new thing that they've been doing. The episode titles in season 1 were all rap songs.
Yeah.
You know, you got Chick One, Stuntin' Like My Daddy. Cool stuff. I had no idea what they were doing in season 2, dude. I had to search these up individually. I had no idea what they were representing. Some of these are quotes. Some of these are like phrases. They're books. I know the finale one was named, or not the finale, but one of the highest rated ones. Right here. The hummingbird one. And the You Cannot See were like based off of actual artworks. So the man just went to the moment. He's like, that's what I'm gonna base it off of. So he's becoming more and more, I think, abstract. So I'm curious to see what he's gonna do in season 3. If season 1 was supposed to be like, you know, that euphoric high that the characters are going through, then 2's a memory. I don't know where he's gonna get into. Do you have any theories on where he could take it? What could be the most interesting way to, I guess, shape up Euphoria, not let it get stale? Because as we said, there's a lot of Euphoria elements that we feel it starts parodying itself.
Yeah. Well, I think the main thing to think about is sort of the biggest through line in the show is Rue and her sobriety, right? Because where with season 1, it was kind of a fight to get sober, and then she sort of went full into her drug use at the end. Then season 2 is her deep in it and being pulled out of it by the end. So now heading into season 3, we have a sober Rue. Who knows for how long? She said through the end of the school year in her narration. I can't imagine that the show is suddenly going to have Rue not be confronting with that. So, we'll probably get a lot more of Rue doing NA meetings, maybe a little bit more of Ali. I missed Coleman Domingo in those last couple of episodes.
Shout out Coleman Domingo. Everything he was in was fantastic.
Yeah, so that's definitely something that we could see more of. I was talking with Caitlin about whether or not we'll see Dominic Fike back on the show, and I feel like he's probably done. Although this doesn't feel like a Euphoria move to me. This feels almost more like a girls move or something. But it'd be interesting to see him brought back for one episode if Rue does slip back into her bad tendencies.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. As we mentioned, that Maddie and Kat and Jules all kind of had less to do this season. So I'm hoping next season we can maybe re-enter their worlds a little bit. Kat clearly was picking up the cam work again, and I think there's a lot of interesting stuff to explore there. I don't know if they're setting up the Maddie relationship with her, the person who hires her as a babysitter, to be something more than what it was this season, but that'd be kind of cool too. So a lot of threads that I think we can see more of. Is there something you're expecting for the next season?
What was the year they gave? 2024? Some really far away numbers. So we got a bit, because it was 3 years since the last one. I'm banking, kind of like what you said, going off of almost a one shot. I like what they did with the specials in between COVID. I would like to see those episodes done with characters that aren't main characters. Yeah,
they were done out of a necessity because of COVID, but it was so good that I really hope they try and continue that tradition,
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm looking forward to. But overall, I thought it was a fantastic season. Not better than one, but I'm so happy that it became even bigger. And I think that's what a series like HBO can hope for. I hope that it doesn't become too much, that it parodies itself, but I'm very excited for what season 3 has to offer.
Yeah.
And I hope that the cast is able to do a lot more really good things. But other than that, I don't know if you have any last-minute thoughts on Euphoria or any of the upcoming Let Us Explain that we'll be doing.
We got a question from the live stream asking, do you want Sam Levinson to bring in more writers or directors to help him with season 2, maybe take some of the scripts off of him? And I think that's a really interesting idea because, it's not like a show that has had some episodes be a big collaboration. Like, he's really the driving force behind this.
It's him.
It does seem like he likes to consult. Like, I would not be surprised if guys like Jeremy or O'Harris are actually doing some uncredited writing on these scripts.
Interesting.
And that's why they get that consultant credit.
All right.
But I feel like it's so his energy, and partially because it has that dynamic visual quality to it. I don't know if you get the same thing if somebody writes the script and then passes it off to somebody else who directs it, and neither of them are Sam Levinson or something like that.
Yeah.
It definitely keeps the show from reaching certain heights in some ways, but I don't know if it would feel like the same show if it wasn't all Sam Levinson.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah, it has to be him.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm curious to know your thoughts. Shout out to everybody who was in the live chat. We've seen people praising Coleman Domingo, saying that Dom will be coming back, so there is that. But I'm curious to see any of y'all's theories, what your favorite moments were from the previous season, what you hope to see coming forward. But when it comes to Intercut, we will be doing a couple more of these Let Us Explains in the coming weeks, so check out everything that we have. We have Genius, which I know is going to be the next one that we have on the horizon, along with the Batman. So if you haven't binged that stuff on Netflix or haven't bought your tickets in IMAX to go see the new Batman movie, then get on that so you can be a part of the discussion. But until then, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And remember, sometimes people just need to get their feelings hurt, Zach.